Welcome to Small Towns Unscripted, Bill, or otherwise known as Papa Bill Nickell.
Yeah.
Or Nickell, or Billy.
Yeah, or I just heard Turtle. We could call you Turtle.
Well, he didn't say we could call him now.
Oh, that's true. Arrogant presumption on my part, Bill.
Yeah.
Never been arrogant in my life, so I don't know what they're talking about.
Wait, who are we?
What are we?
Who are
Oh,
we?
yeah. This is the infamous Tara Chelan.
Yeah, hi.
And Tara Chelan. And my name's Russ McClellan. That's Desiree Sackett-Phelps.
Welcome, Bill.
You
Papa
know,
Nichols.
and Miss Nicole Turner. So thank
Now
you
we're
for showing
official.
up.
Now we're...
Yeah, and this is a podcast that is simply about getting to know each other instead of maybe of each other. So often we know each other from, like we just said, your fast pitch days. Maybe you know somebody and the last time you talked to him was when you were playing fast pitch when, what was there, like 15 teams at the time? And how old
there
were
was,
you?
There was an OMAC team, several Wenatchee teams. Of course, we had a team in Chelan.
Yeah. Good times.
We were pretty good.
Yeah, I remember my Uncle Gene Edmonds was hardcore in that. But hey, before we get into all that, I'm just fascinated with that time in history because I was a little kid chasing you and looking at all those games and watching my uncle and you play and all the other guys. So that's a fun time in my life. But I want to know, like, what we try to do is intertwine the community, right? Like, so what we need to know from you is, how'd you get here? Where were you originally from? Or?
I moved here in 1957. In late spring, I was 9 years old. I started grade school at Moe in the fall of 57. Went all through school, graduated 66. Of course, back in those days, they were priceless. Growing up here, it was just priceless. I loved it. It was baseball, apple pie, girls, and cars. Not necessarily in that order.
Where did you come from, and why did your folks...
I lived in Twisp.
Oh, I did not know that.
I was born in Wenatchee. I lived in the little town of Nickell for a few years till I was about 6 or 7. Moved to Twisp. Finished third grade in Twisp and then moved to Chelan.
Why'd your folks come down here?
Well, my dad had an orchard in Nickell. Had a couple orchards. My grandpa had an orchard here in Chelan on the South Shore. And my grandpa was getting up in years, so my dad sold his orchards and came down and ran his dad's orchards.
Gotcha.
Nice.
Yeah.
So your grandfather, when did he come to town?
My grandfather was a hardware store owner in Winthrop for years. That's where my dad grew up. And he moved, my grandpa moved to Chelan probably, I'm going to say 55, and bought an orchard right just up the road from Pat and Mike's.
Oh, right in there.
And close to where our lake house is.
Like nefarious-ish?
No, back.
Ah,
Probably
Chelan.
5 driveways up lake from Pat and Mike's.
gotcha.
Yeah. Straight stretch right there. Yeah.
So perfect timing. You graduated high school in 66. Vietnam.
Went in the Air Force in 69. Basic training, San Antonio, Biloxi, Tech School. 2 years in Great Falls, Montana. Went to Germany in February of 71.
It was
Married my wife Marci in June of 71.
So it's kind of winding. It was 71. It was kind of winding down, or was it still full blown? I can't remember. 69, 70. Vietnam was starting to.
Actually, Vietnam was full blown around 65, 6, 7, 8.
Okay.
And I was lucky. I missed Vietnam. I was just lucky.
Was your high school in 66? Was the draft still going?
Draft started just after high school,
Yeah.
and my number was like 70 some.
Wow.
So I was going to Spokane Community College, and I went downtown one day and walked into the Air Force recruiter's office, and I said, I'd like to sign up. He said, well, come back in a week and take our general exam test. I said, all right. So I came back, took the test. He said, now come back in another week. I'll tell you how you did. And I said, all right. I went back. He said, Mr. Nickell, he said, you did pretty well. But he says, you have the worst mechanical score I've ever seen. He said, what do you want to do in the Air Force? And I said, I want to be a jet mechanic. You know, I laughed, but he didn't laugh.
You didn't think so, huh?
But anyway, I went in March of '69.
Now, tell us a little bit about your hooking up with Marci. Marcel.
I went to a party.
You didn't party, Bill, did you, in the 60s?
Party at the Harvey house,
Harvey
Marci's folks' house.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
And they were out of town.
Oh, boy.
And this was over Thanksgiving of 1970. I was home for a 4-day break from Great Falls. And I knew who Marci was, but I really didn't know her. And there was quite a few people there, you know, college kids. And
Sure, we're all home. we're
yeah,
all getting
everybody's
together.
home. And I'm standing in the, right in the middle of the living room, and Marci walks up to me and she said, God, you look good.
Just like a fishing story.
I thought, gee whiz. You know, that doesn't happen very often.
Are you like 6 beers good looking?
So, so the next day, I went downtown, and her folks owned Harvey's furniture store.
On the corner there.
Yep. And her brother Steve was standing outside when I pulled in, and I got out of the car and I walked up to Steve and I said, Steve, do you think it'd be okay if I asked Marci out? He goes, of course, if you knew Steve, he'd go, what the hell are you asking me for? You know, she's in there working, go ask her. So I went in the store and we sat down and talked, and I asked her out. And we were married 6 months later.
Nice.
And still
That's
married.
awesome.
Married 53 years.
Oh, that's good.
That's
Love it. Absolutely
Wonderful.
love it.
Marci is a probably one of the most thoughtful people I've ever been around. And I'm not saying that just because she's my wife, but she really is.
No, I would have to agree with you.
Yeah.
Very
She's
kind.
She is saving my butt right now. She's actually, she is. She's at my office in Bellevue for the Seattle Home Show. And she's been helping us
Yeah.
for a handful of years now after she retired.
I think she's about her 5th year. Isn't
I think
she,
so.
Tara? Yeah.
And she retired from the school and kind of, you know, still wanted a little something to do. And she ran that school office ship shape. So
Yeah.
she had no problem coming into our office and handling all the
Yeah.
wonderful, always wonderful exhibitors
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
that we have. Yeah, she's amazing.
She is quite a little.
I always walk in. There's my 25th year this year, I think, that I've been to the Seattle Home Show.
25th?
Yeah, and I always walk in and they're like, I don't see your paperwork. Marci goes, oh, that's Russ. He's good.
Yeah.
He doesn't do paperwork very much.
We got it. We
sign
got it.
sign
Let's do
this
it.
contract that you're supposed to sign 3 months ago. Like,
So she's in the Bellevue office as we speak.
Yep, yep. She's hustling.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
well,
She's
that's
great.
that's how we got you out of the house. See, we
Yeah, oh, yeah. Sure.
keep you out of the tavern.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
you know, being in a house with 4 boys.
Well, actually,
being
you're
one of
counting
them.
me.
I'm
Yeah.
counting you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that takes one tough cookie too. So
You know, that time in my life, I would do that all over again, just for the sports. Because I love high school basketball, baseball. All my boys were involved, and I'd go back and do it again.
So, could you tell us who were you with in high school? Could you name some of your high school buddies?
One of my best friends was Steve Klein.
Oh,
So he played professional.
Some of you have
baseball.
probably heard him.
if you haven't,
And,
Google it.
Roger Mosier.
Yeah.
Roger and Steve and I, probably starting in 5th grade, played hours of wiffle ball at Steve's house on the corner of Emerson and Johnson, or Emerson and Chelan. And Steve was an amazing athlete.
Did you know that right away, like when you were kids, or did it come later?
Yes.
Just naturally gifted.
Played Little League against him, and of course, he was way above all of us, you know. His accuracy, pitching was amazing.
Now, let me ask you this. When you were playing wiffle ball, because this is a very important question, did you tape the wiffle ball with athletic tape?
You know, we did,
You did, and that came later.
but I know what you're saying.
Her husband was a hell of a pitcher, and he could throw a wiffle ball. It'd start right here, and it would come across the plate with a curveball that was like 60 degrees.
Is that right?
Yeah. And he knew.
But you need the tape.
Yeah, you have to have the tape.
Yeah.
And I think the 6 brothers and Frank's family, I think he kind of learned
Yeah.
from the top down,
Yeah.
how to do it right.
Yeah, yeah.
Probably lucky Steve didn't have the wiffle ball with tape, or you guys never would have hit it.
Boy, he was something.
Yeah, so he
And
played professional baseball.
He played for the Yankees,
The Yan-
Cleveland Indians, Atlanta Braves.
Wow. All the big guys.
I have a story about him if you'd like to hear it.
Love to.
Yeah.
He's at spring training in Sarasota, Florida. And they get done with practice. And he stops at the bar, orders a drink, and in comes this beautiful brunette and sits down by him. And he says, "Can I buy you a drink?" And she said, "Well, sure." Buys her a drink. They drink their drinks. She says, "Can I buy you another drink?" And she said, "Sure." They drink their drinks, and he's sitting there, and this guy walks in and goes and sits on the other side of her. And, of course, Steve knew who it was right away. She looked over at Steve, and she said, "I'd like you to meet my husband, Pete Rose." So Klein threw a 50 down and walked out.
That's hilarious.
True story.
That's great.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Whoops.
You're not in Chelan anymore,
Yeah,
Steve.
that's over.
Funny.
Yeah.
That's
Heroes.
But those days were special.
And Roger, did you know Greg too, growing up?
Oh, yeah, Greg and I played. He was 2 years behind me. He was in Marci's class. Greg was a heck of a little athlete.
Yeah, I played softball with Greg and you.
Yeah, softball. Of course, we played Legion ball too after high school ball, and we had a pretty good team. Of course, when you have somebody like Klein pitching,
Yeah.
But yeah, Greg was a good little athlete.
So you came back home, you got married.
Got married. I had 2 years left in the Air Force. Got married. Came home on leave June of '71, and then took Marci back. Air Force was big on sports in Germany, so I tried out for the Air Force baseball team, made the team,
Nice.
and they sent us to Madrid, Spain for spring training. And we traveled all over. There was a regular league,
Wow, that's great.
and
That's
Now,
awesome.
is that where Brooke ended up for a while?
no,
Where was he when he was?
Brooke didn't go in the service.
No, I mean when he was teaching. He wasn't
Oh,
in
he
Spain?
taught his first stop was here in Chelan,
Right, and then but when he went to Europe.
and then he went to Madrid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean that's funny
Yeah,
of all the world.
yeah.
That's great.
So it wasn't your first rodeo when
No.
you went to visit.
Well, the first day I subbed, November 1st of '06, I'd retired. I've been out of UPS for 10 weeks. They had to go through State Patrol, FBI, all that stuff. And a lot of people wondered how I got through that, but I did. So I walk in the classroom, and I'm subbing for Brooke.
Oh,
And 6th grade math.
yeah.
Oh boy.
And I'm nervous, just
Yeah.
here I am. I drive a truck for 30 years. Now I'm in a classroom. And of course, I'm not a mathematician. I put my name on the board. I took roll. I gave the lesson plan. And this little Hispanic kid in the back raises his hand. And I said, of course, I didn't know any names first day and everything. I said, "Yeah, what do you got back there?" He says, "Yeah, so does this mean you're Papa Nickell?" And I said, as a matter of fact, I am Papa Nickell. Brooks, my son. A couple of minutes went by, and same kid raised his hand. He said, so, Papa Nickell, did you fight in the Civil War? Everybody just laughed. I mean, and that kid, the next 6 years, till he graduated, I'd see him in the hall, he'd go, hey, Papa, how's the war going?
No, that's so cute.
And that's how I got Papa Nickell.
Nice.
And to this day, I'm still Papa Nickell.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, that's great. I know my kids have tons of fond memories of you subbing, and I just love that that's where you chose to go after you were done being a UPS, like the give back part of that for you.
Oh.
People that know you know that your heart is so big
course.
towards kids.
Thank
So,
you. Coaching
yeah.
with Frank was wonderful.
Good,
I mean,
good. I know he felt the same.
and your daughter Abby's amazing.
Thank you.
And I want to get her address before I leave. But no, I did that almost 12 years. And I think maybe in 12 years, I'd average 70 to 80 days a year. I was an emergency sub. I don't have a degree.
Right.
And I might have had 5 bad days in 12 years.
Wow.
It was great.
That's a testament to you too, because not everybody can walk in a room and connect to people, but you definitely have
Yeah,
Oh my
that
goodness,
gift.
the personality on this
Yeah.
man, and you
Yeah.
know, let's just briefly touch on your UPS career because
Oh, gosh.
I mean, it's a hard job. It really is, and you did it for a long time, and you didn't just like do it. I mean, you were the like UPS man celebrity. It was like,
Yeah,
hey, hi, hey.
Yeah,
Everybody
Gene
loved
and I,
you.
Actually, Gene got me the job. It
Yeah,
really helped a lot.
I think he was like 35 years or something.
He was 30.
30? Yeah.
I was 30.
Now, did you both, you lived up here, so you drive down,
Drive down.
then get
commute,
your truck, drive back up.
Back. My
Do you-
first 8 years, I was a cover driver. That means I'd run a different route every week.
Oh, wow.
Jeez.
Oh.
In the summertime, Gene would take 5 straight weeks off, so I covered Manson.
So, Nicole, Gene is my mom's brother.
Oh, okay.
And Manson is not an easy place to learn.
Yeah.
No,
Back
sir.
in those days, because it was just star route.
Yeah.
Now you got streets and, you know.
But that even makes it a little bit harder because there's so many little streets now.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, every driveway on the lake now is a street.
Yes,
It
there
used to be
was-
just a number on the highway.
Yeah.
There were streets then, but not nearly as many.
Yeah.
And
It's like Washington Street and Roses Lake Road.
Bosques, Washington,
I mean,
Lake
that was
Shore.
it. Yeah, those were like
those
5
were all
streets.
there. But
Yeah.
I still get accused of not living here, growing up here, because I don't know the street names.
Nobody knew the street names. Who knew street names?
I had some clients
Bill did.
once. Yeah,
Bill knew them all.
Yeah, UPS drivers did. and
Should've
then,
called
well,
Bill.
nobody.
boy, you had to, or you wouldn't make it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a good job for you, though.
It was a good job for this valley. It's a good job,
Yeah.
and a
Met a lot of people.
lot of people. And now, you know, I don't see people like I did. You just don't see them.
Well, you walk a lot.
I walk a lot, but it's not the same as being on route. You know.
Yeah, that was kind of your social
Yeah.
activity.
And I knew a lot of jokes in those days.
Oh boy! And you have a son that's a UPS driver.
Actually, he retired.
Oh well, he was, and
He's
he was in
starting
the
with
city.
Marci will tell you, he's
Okay.
starting with the post office here shortly.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I just remember, being over there in Seattle area, UPS driver. That's like a whole
Oh.
different league.
That's a whole nother world.
That's not even. Yeah, that seemed really challenging.
Yeah, I don't know if I
Actually.
could have made it over there too.
Yeah, I
So,
hear you.
so the father of 3 sons, right?
3 sons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kept you busy.
Jason, Brooke, Mike. Yeah.
Kept him busy.
Yeah.
It kept me busy.
I started 1984 coaching AAU. Coach Jason's group, Brooks' group, Michael's group.
Jason was what, 3 years? When did he graduate? 90?
93.
93.
Yeah, he was a year behind me.
So he was 6 years behind me.
A lot of fun times.
I used to come out I think I've told Desi this. I know Russ knows. To watch you guys play ball.
Yeah, they were a good group.
You, young lady, were probably one of the best guards I still, to this day, that I've seen play.
Yeah.
Thank
Yep.
you.
She was
And Russ's
great.
team with Frank, and you guys were good.
We had a
They were fun.
good group.
Fun
to
to
watch.
fun to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about that. We played Chelan our senior year 3 times, and it would be so packed.
So
Yeah,
packed,
oh, yeah.
yeah.
And we were laughing because back then they had the coax cable outside
Yeah.
with the big TVs, and people be out there smoking
Oh,
at the old little gym, and it was so packed. They just go
So
outside
packed.
and
So bad.
watch it on multiple TVs with
Yeah.
cable.
It was so loud too. That's what I remember because we both had those old wooden bleachers, so everyone was banging on them, and
what
it
year
was
were you, Tara?
92.
92.
Yeah, I was just a
Year before, just. Yeah.
So Desi grew up with me next door, right? So I was always playing one-on-one with her.
Yeah.
So
he had
I-
a hope.
I had a little.
His
my
dad built him a hoop.
10 foot by 10 foot. So we were.
She beat you?
I made her work.
I'll bet.
I made her work. I didn't treat her like she was just one of the boys.
Yeah.
Now, Bob
Forever.
Johnson was your coach, right?
Yeah, for 2 years.
And
I
then-
had actually had 3 high school coaches in my 4 years, but
Oh
Bob
gosh,
was
I think
2.
I had 4.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I think we were 4
crazy.
for 4.
Yeah.
Of course, I played softball for years with Marnie Moose.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
What a
barn
piece.
dog.
I know.
We had a good time.
Yeah.
Those are some great men.
He's
Yeah.
still
Between
around,
Bob and
right?
Marty.
Like in Wenatchee
He's
area.
retired now.
East Wenatchee, I
I haven't
believe.
seen him in a long time.
Him and Barb.
Yeah,
boys.
Barbie retired.
Yeah.
Yeah, great guy. Gosh.
Yeah,
him
good-
and
good
Bob,
guy.
2 of my favorite teachers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you still chase the sports? You still try to get out and see?
Yeah, I'll go tonight. Go watch Chelan tonight. They play Lake Roosevelt,
Senior night?
and I went and watched the girls play like early in the season, and I thought, oh gosh, Frank's going to have a long year. But you know what? He and Abby and Stamps and Abby's Hut, they have really improved.
Yeah. They're doing it by committee, that's for sure.
It's amazing.
Getting it done. Yeah, I've seen that improvement
It's
as well.
amazing. Yeah.
It's been fun. It's been fun. I, of course, get to be on baby Frankie duty
Oh.
while they're all coaching. So I'm
I saw you
Incredibly happy
in
with
the
it.
corner one night
Yep.
with the baby.
Yep. That's where Eli and I hang out. It's great.
Cute.
Yeah, it's very cute. But I had a question for you about UPS. I remember, Russ and I remember living here as kids, and like snow was like 8 feet deep then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering how many crazy stories you got about trying to get places. As,
Well, one of the big jokes down at the center was, in 30 years, I didn't ever chain up.
oh, wow.
Now, it wasn't because I didn't need to chain up. It was because I didn't know how. And I caught all kinds of grief down.
I bet.
So if there's a driveway 1,000 feet long, I would run it in
Really?
rather than go in and get stuck. Yeah.
Got your walking steps in.
Yes.
Bought yourself a good pair of boots.
I ran. Yes. Yes. And I don't know if you guys knew this, Nicole. You might have heard this on CNN. FedEx bought UPS.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah.
Did you hear that, Des?
No, tell me about it.
They're going to call us Fed Up. That goes. FedEx driver told me that one day.
Fed ups.
Still slanging the jokes. Just it
That's
wouldn't be a
cute.
day with Billy if there
Yeah.
wasn't some joke
Yep.
slinging going on.
So let me go back in time a little bit. When you were growing up here,
Yeah.
you said it was a magical place. What was it like growing up as a kid here? And 9 years old, you moved to town. What do you remember?
When I was 9, Russ, I can remember, of course, my grandparents lived just up from Pat and Mike's. And I remember looking across the lake, and there was one house on the hill. The rest was sagebrush and orchards.
Like Chelan Hills.
Yeah.
Chelan Hills had one house, maybe.
And I would ride my bike out every Saturday morning. My grandma made great pancakes. And I'd ride my bike all over Lakeside. I grew up in Lakeside. And we had a regular gang of guys out there, kind of a rough bunch.
So when did the Lakeside School? Do you remember the Lakeside School?
That's where I caught the bus.
But it was not a functioning school then.
No. That's where a lot of kids went to kindergarten. But I think it had quit. And right on the corner there is where I caught the bus. So.
Again.
Now, did you ever think you guys wanted to go break out on your own and live somewhere else, or you always knew you wanted to stay here?
I always knew I wanted to stay here. Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, this valley's magical. And we live in a house now. We just moved in June, about halfway up the golf course, so I can sit in my chair, which I do a lot, and look right up Lake Stormy, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
I've never taken this place for granted. It's just beautiful.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And of course, Tehican and all that, it's beautiful.
Well, and you guys have kind of a unique situation with Marci's family on the lake there, which I think is unique.
Yeah, we've got probably in the top 3 beaches on the lake. All the brother-in-laws and sister-in-law, we all have a place out there, and we only use it for summer.
Yeah.
And we have a rental that we use, helps pay taxes, which
Everybody
we need to
needs.
do.
are enormous.
Yeah, enormous.
And where's this, Bill? I don't know this place.
If you turned at Pat and Mike's, and I'm going to say you go maybe an 1/8 of a mile
Okay.
on the right, there's a sign that says Grandma's Lane.
I've seen that sign.
Oh.
Did you go to Joe's
Yeah,
party out?
Yeah.
That was it.
that space. Okay.
And he
got it.
landed in the helicopter?
Yes.
That's it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I
it's
remember that
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A
that's
lot of good times out there.
Yeah, a lot of good times.
And when I lived on the lake, I'd come over by boat,
Yeah.
visit.
Yeah,
Very fun.
there's people pulling in all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really
oh, that's
fun.
great.
So,
And it's neat when a local, old-time local can hang on. It's hard to do.
For sure.
hard, yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to do.
For sure.
It's hard to hang on to your waterfront. So I love hearing success stories like that. That's a success story to me.
Yeah, I had never had an inkling to move ever. So,
Yeah.
So you've seen a lot of change.
yeah.
You met a lot of people.
I'm not sure, Russ, I like all of it.
No.
And I'm sure you being in the real estate, you've heard stories and stuff.
Yeah.
I can sit in my chair, like I told you, look up lake. I can also look at the Manson Highway. The traffic is unbelievable. Coming
Yes.
and going from Manson.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
And, yeah,
Yeah. My husband started counting cars
I
that
do that.
passed him. Yeah, I told him he needed to just stop. Just stop doing that. Just stop. Control what you can control, Frank.
Well, I'm curious because being a UPS driver, you would I'm sure meet new people. You saw the progression. You saw the people buying second homes. You saw the people moving here, coming back here. That grew up here, went away, came back, and you always had this positive mindset. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen you in a bad mood.
Oh, I get a little cranky once in a while.
Like, you're getting old now, so I
On
can see
route, I'm
that.
getting old.
But you've always lit up a room, and you were always kind to me, and always seems like sweet to everyone. And so, what was the key to being optimistic, even though things change in a town like this that's attractive to the world? It's kind of inevitable that when you live in a cool place, people are going to find it. But you always had a good attitude. So, what's the key to that?
Well, like I said, my first 8 years I was a cover driver. I came in one night in May of '85, and my boss walked out of the office and he said, Bill, would you like to go to Chelan? And I said, like tomorrow for the day? He says, no, permanently. So my last 22 years I spent in Chelan.
And so I was saying earlier, when you drive down, pick up your truck, drive back, do your route, drive back, drop off your truck, drive back. So you did down and back 2 times a day for 22 years.
For
30,
30 years.
30
30
years.
years.
Wow.
Marci and I figure I'm well over 1 million miles. That counts my private car too.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And you didn't
That's-
mind that? Or
I
it got
get-
old?
Well, the winter, Tara, I got a little, like snow days. My folks lived down in East Wenatchee, so I would stay down if it got real bad,
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
helped a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I think people forget that, it's this spray stuff they're putting on the highway is just relatively new. A lot of us drove that highway a
Right.
lot
Right.
when it had
Nothing.
no lines because there was too much compact snow and ice. And those are the days I think about you guys. The Christmas time then had to just be rough.
And
Well,
we'd
there
start.
wasn't Amazon then.
Well, that's true. People, that's true. Sears and Roebucks, though.
Yeah.
And in December, we'd start at 6 a.m.
Wow.
So I was on the road at 4:40, and you'd get above Pat and Mike's there. No plows had been out yet,
Yep.
and you're plowing through that stuff,
Yeah.
and then you got to drive the truck back in it. By then, the plows had been out.
And you don't do chains.
Yeah, you didn't do
So-
chains.
I didn't do
So-
chains.
So your wife then is kind of doing all the home stuff without you on those days that you're working.
She had a daycare for years,
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
and I'd leave so early, and by the time I got home, the kids were gone. And she'd have, I'm going to say 9 to 12 kids.
Wow.
I mean, bless her.
And
heart.
she was good at it,
There's that big heart we just were talking about.
That's that
of
big
hers.
heart.
Yeah, I mean that's work, You had 3 kids of your own, and
Yeah.
you're gone at 4 or 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
Back
and-
home at what? Dinner time?
Yeah, about, anywhere from 5 to 7. I mean, it
Sure.
varied every day. It
Sure.
it depend on your load,
Yeah.
But, and then she got the job at the grade school and got out of the daycare and then eventually moved over to the high school. And I think she did all that for 25 years or so.
Wow.
Yeah.
Long time.
Kept score for Joe for 25
Oh
years.
my
I
gosh.
was gonna say I don't remember like an AAU game, a pickup game, a
Oh.
high school game, a middle
I know,
school game
you
that
guys
she
are
wasn't
really-
doing book.
Both in it to win with the kids and the sports
For sure.
and that. I mean, do you just have that picture in your head of Marci with her glasses and a pencil?
Yeah.
It's like,
Uh-huh.
this is Marci.
Yep.
One of the highlights of my sports,
Yes.
my kids growing up, and you all know how I love high school basketball, but my youngest son, Michael, played baseball, and in 1999, they had to play a play-in game at Lake Roosevelt to get to district.
Okay.
So I take the day off. It's a Friday. We got there in the second inning. It was 10-4 Lake Roosevelt. And I'm thinking, oh, God. Took this day off. They're getting raked here. They ended up winning 15-12.
Wow.
Whoa.
They went down to Recreation Park the next weekend, won 2 games, went to Spokane for the state championships, won all their games, won the state championship.
Yeah.
So was my nephew Josh on that team?
Josh was on that team.
Joshua
Yeah.
Robert's my sister's.
Yes.
Yeah, state champion.
And there was
Wow.
the people that followed the team. It was just a small group. I mean, it was like just a few parents.
Yep.
It wasn't like basketball when
Yeah.
And
What a story.
I'll just never forget that.
They just got their momentum at the right time, huh?
At the right time. I think they finished 15-15.
With
and
the
they,
state title.
Well, they were all great. They were all great athletes.
They were
all
pretty
your
good,
kids,
yeah.
Jason he played with Phil, right? Didn't Jason play with Phil Cullen?
Brooke,
Or Brooke played.
Brooke. Yeah, I was going to say.
that was a good team.
And didn't Jason's team make it to the state tournament too?
Jason's team, they took third in basketball.
Yeah, yeah.
Brooke's team took third. Michael went to state, but they didn't place that year.
Still great accomplishments. Makes for fun basketball watching.
Another great story is Desi will like this one. It was the summer of '91. and I parked in front of Aston Drugs,
Yeah.
and I
It's right downtown.
got my hand truck out and full of packages, and I'm walking down the sidewalk. It's hotter than hell. And out runs Kathy Harris from the Fashionette. And I mean, she's running. And I thought, oh God, somebody collapsed or frickin' place is on fire.
Yeah.
She said, Bill, you're not going to believe it. I said, Kathy, what's wrong? What's the deal? She said, Joe just got hired as the Chelan basketball coach. I said, Kathy, that's the best thing that'll ever happen to Chelan basketball.
Yeah.
She says, I'm worried. I said, why? She said, because, you know, sometimes when your kid comes back to your hometown, things don't work out. So the night of Joe's Hall of Fame induction in Wenatchee, I walked up to her and I said, Kathy, what do you think now? She said, Bill, for once in your life, you're right.
Oh, she knows you.
Oh, yeah.
Gave you that one.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I don't know why they would want to have left Bridgeport living in a trailer.
I
I
know.
mean,
I
Double
know.
wide.
Isn't that the truth?
Actually, it was a single wide with a tip
Yeah.
out.
God,
Yeah.
I hear those stories.
oh
Ew.
my
Yeah.
gosh.
God, Tara.
I know it. I know it. So I'm sure.
There's a few stories.
Yeah, there's a few stories, but
That's
I
right.
think coming home was only up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
Oh, yeah.
It was good.
Only up from there.
It
They
was
were
good.
competitive though. What was it for Bridgeport?
Bridgeport.
Oh,
he
hey.
rung the towel at Bridgeport.
Well, you-
he got every ounce
Yeah, I
of
played
everything
against
out of
them. Yeah,
You played against them.
Yeah, Frank.
Yeah.
We have a good video of Frank throwing. I don't know if it was me or Todd caught a touchdown pass, and Joe threw his hat on the ground.
Yeah,
my
'cause he-
dad filmed it, I think. And
Because he was football, too,
he
wasn't
was
he?
football
Yeah, he was
coach.
everything.
Him and Bill Alexander.
Yeah, great guys. Bill or Frank was a hell of a quarterback. That guy, her husband can throw the ball.
Yeah.
He
You
All
guys,
I remember is Frank hated playing Bridgeport in basketball when Joe was coaching because
They were
it
tough.
just was
They were
such
just-
a tough.
But they were
night.
tough. I mean, they were tough when I was a kid playing them. The girls. I mean, they
Oh,
were.
yeah.
They were like, whoa, tough.
They-
Kind of scary.
they were good.
Yeah.
The girls were good.
Yeah.
Well,
So
you know-
Andrea Hutton,
Super
Hinton,
tough.
who's now married to Jeff Pearl, was
no, was she a Bridgeport girl?
she's a great shooter.
Was she a good player?
Yeah, we tried to coach against her when Frank and I were coaching Manson. And to go pick her up at half court.
So, Bill, do you
That was
remember
her.
when, like, one of the theories I have is back when the farming was solid, and you could raise 2-3 kids on 10 acres.
Yeah.
A lot of these, do you feel like, because I can't compare it, you know, haven't been that close to the basketball and football and stuff now. I know it's still competitive. I know there's still rivalries, but it seems like there was more of a generational rivalry because all the small towns had this, like, stability with small farmers.
I agree.
Do you feel that? Like, there was something different.
Russ has changed a lot.
Yeah, not bad or worse. It just seems like in the stands, you know, I just remember the grandpas played against the grandpas. And,
The 80s and even way back when I mean, it's just changed. It's just not the same.
Yeah.
well, the ag industry was such a staple for
Yes.
so many, you know, trickle down economics, and
Yes.
so each town had an identity. That,
Yes.
And it still does. I'm not dissing it. I'm just saying back then it just felt, and maybe that's just because I'm looking back, have fond memories of what we did. But I don't know. Do you
I
think?
don't know how much is nostalgia and how much is.
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out. What he
Yeah.
thinks.
Yeah.
I agree. I hate to see the orchards go too.
It's tough.
The small orchards. I just hate it.
So how do you feel about that? Because that's a big topic right now. Of this year was tough again, another really tough year. And so how do you feel about a family that buys an orchard but has to sell, and they sell it, and you know there's a development, there's a short plat, there's something else. Is it?
I probably would do the same thing
Yeah.
because you just can't make it as a small orchardist now.
Yeah, I
from
mean,
what
that's-
I understand.
No, and that's the thing. If you're facing a bankruptcy, or
Oh.
you know, I don't think people know what that stress feels like often.
Exactly.
And so they might. It's easy to judge, like, well, damn, you sold it, you know. But if there's nobody buying,
Yeah.
you can't.
Yep.
You can't get too mad.
Exactly.
Um,
No, I agree.
Well, I would hate to think that people are making it personal. You know,
I would hope so,
I would
but
like to think people are just upset with the overall economics of it
Yeah.
and how it impacts us, less personal to the family who has to sell.
You would hope so.
I think that, like Bill's saying, it placed in their shoes,
Yeah.
you'd probably have to do the same thing. So
Yeah, it's
hopefully we're not judging each other like that.
Yeah.
I
But
don't
to
think-
feel
yeah.
sad that it's
sure.
happening, of course.
I was in that position and had 10 acres and couldn't make it in my. I mean, and we're able to section it off. I would.
Yeah.
You got to have a living.
Right.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just it's this gentrification where communities change.
Yeah.
And as they change, not everybody benefits directly from it, so it's
Right.
hard to see. But I can tell you, I've done a lot of recon on a lot of communities that don't have a tourism component,
Yeah.
don't have any other options.
A lot.
That were farming communities, and they're ghost towns.
Exactly.
So, my dad, I used to love my dad and his crew, right? Earl Stanford, he had him on our podcast. He's 90 now, and he's of that age. And then my dad would be like, "Give me my damn town back, tourists. Get out of here, 206ers." Like he was honest about it. But he didn't dislike anybody. He just loved the lifestyle, and there's nothing wrong with wanting that.
Well, I belong to a coffee group now.
Oh boy! Oh
Let's
boy!
hear about that.
I wanna-
And
I wanna
they
hear
all
about
say the
this.
same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like, Russ, we're getting inundated every summer. I mean, there's so many people.
And to Tara's point, it's like you can't blame people for wanting to be in a beautiful
bit.
place.
Nope. Like you said, it's
Hey.
magical.
Yeah.
Magical.
And I'm
Exactly. I don't
But-
blame them one.
Change is hard.
Change is hard.
Change is hard, and I feel like I recall my parents when I was young saying, "Oh, when I was your age, la la la." We kind of live in that this is our perfect scenario, and now we're not
Yeah.
in that anymore.
Yeah.
And how it was better. And I think that's just a trend also that happens generationally. Everyone
Yeah.
thinks their time was the best time.
Maybe.
Right.
And that's okay too.
Yeah.
That's okay too, because it makes these stories fun and interesting because they're different.
Well, I think we have pre and post internet. And I think there's a pre-internet that was pre-cell phone, pre-internet, 3 channels on TV if you're lucky.
If you're lucky.
And so there's then the post now with social media, and some of that's not very positive. There's a lot of craziness, and maybe that's just an older guy talking. But I also see a lot of poison. I see a lot of armchair quarterbacks yelling at
Yeah.
their referee never getting in the game and
Yeah.
doing that from on
Yeah.
social media.
Social media.
Just
Yeah.
the negativity
we
is
talk
silly.
a lot though about pendulums
Yeah.
swinging, and because our grandparents were talking about the changes they saw were like no electricity, dirt floors,
Oh, God.
no running water. I mean, my grandparents had to go pump from the well outside.
Yeah.
I mean, they had outhouses. Like the change they saw
Yeah.
was, imagine when they got the first phone put on the wall inside. I mean, that's
Crazy.
That was big time too, but I think there's that trend that we talk about where the pendulum swings through neutral and then it goes way out here and we feel like it's a little, and then we swing back.
Yeah.
So, I think we take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We kind of get back to, and then maybe we'll swing another way.
One of the things Earl said to us on our podcast is, was in the Depression, and everybody was dirt poor, but he didn't know it because everybody was dirt poor. There was nobody comparing anybody to anybody.
Exactly.
Do you feel that growing up with kids that you all got along pretty well, or was
When I was growing up, we got along pretty well.
Yeah.
And that time for me was, I still think about it. It was wonderful.
What was your most favorite vivid sports memory of high school? What's your favorite?
Mine personally,
Yes, your personally.
That's a great question.
well, in basketball, we were at Tenasket, and one of our players got hurt. He got fouled. So Tally said, I was on the bench.
So
He
Jim
said-
Talley's your coach.
Jim Tally was our coach.
Okay.
And he said, Nickell, get in, shoot the 2 foul shots. and it was a real tight game.
No pressure.
Under a minute left,
Wow.
so I went in and I made both shots, and we won by 1.
Nice.
And of course, I still think about that a
Yeah.
little bit.
Some pressure.
And then district, we played Quincy on a Friday night at Eastmont, and we lost by 3. The next night, we played Tenasket at Okanagan and lost by 10.
Oh.
And all we had to do is win one of those to go to state.
Oh, shoot.
So that sticks in the craw of my mind.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And of course,
close?
baseball, we won, I think, 4 or 5 straight league championships, and we didn't have state then.
Oh.
So
No state baseball.
no
then.
state, nothing state baseball.
Interesting.
Yeah.
When did that start?
I'm going to say 70s, mid 70s,
Okay.
maybe,
Okay.
late 70s.
That's
So was
interesting.
Gene your age?
Gene was my wife's class, 68,
So a couple of years
a couple of years.
behind you,
Yeah.
and you guys you got really into softball. Like I remember. You
Yeah,
guys,
we had a good team in slow pitch. We had the Wenatchee League, and we would go down there several years in a row and win district, and it just made them mad. I mean, they were mad.
These are intense competitive games too.
And
young men
in
to
fast
play.
pitch,
Yeah.
Rainier was going to the Nationals in Tennessee, so they called Don Eli up.
No, Don either.
You knew Donnie.
Yeah, yeah.
He said, we'd like to play a practice game with Chelan down at Triangle Park before we leave for Tennessee, just, to
Warm
get
up.
the mojo going. And Donnie said, heck yeah, I'll get the guys together. And we went down, and Gene pitched a 1-hitter. We beat him 2-0.
He was pretty good at that pitching
Oh.
stuff.
So
Wow.
strong.
Yeah.
Was that
And,
before? Remember when he got beat up?
Oh, we had just left. We were at Campbell's. And Larry Bradley, myself, Gene, somebody else, I can't remember. And Marci and I went home, and they confronted him out in the parking lot, and they beat the hell out of him.
I remember that actually.
And I went up to his house the next day. I mean, you guys, I couldn't believe it.
Like there was multiple guys, right?
3 guys, I think.
Wow.
And I asked Gene, I said, did you get 1 or 2 in? He says, oh yeah. He says, I
Who
got
were
the,
these guys?
he says, from the coast. And they were watching Gene and Dee Dee. That's when he was married to Dee Dee.
Okay.
And they didn't like, they just didn't like their looks or something.
Oh, okay.
And
I remember him telling me, I don't know what year that was, but I was pretty young, and I remember him telling me that ain't gonna happen again. And then he
started pumping.
He got real
he
serious.
got real strong.
He got real strong
Very
after that.
I remember.
So I feel like I would be remiss if we didn't tell one of your son's most favorite stories. And it kind of highlights a small town kid,
Which son?
Jason,
Okay.
going to the city and having to attend some city type events. Not used to that when you come from Chelan.
Yeah.
You want to tell it? The tie story.
The what?
The tie, the necktie.
Oh, no, you tell it.
Well, you got to chime in though.
You know it better than I do.
Well, I believe it was the 1998 PGA Championship.
95
95
at Sahalee.
at Sahalee. Okay.
Wow. So a little bit of high class
A grand
woven through.
global
Yeah.
event, okay, is coming to Seattle.
This
and,
is a classic.
and you now know, the world that's watching, if you didn't before, that the Nickell family is very into sports.
Yeah.
Yes.
Golf has become a big one
Oh, yeah.
for you guys. So Jason has to go. And my dad is a member at Sahalee and also a huge sports fan. And we produce events, obviously. So he's the one helping bring this event to Seattle.
Oh, that's cool.
So he and 2 other guys have one of the corporate tents. Nickels are coming, like everybody's coming, right? And we're just walking around watching a golf tournament. Never been to one before in my life like this. super fun.
Really unbelievable. wasn't
Really,
it?
I mean, if you've never been to one,
Oh.
you watch golf on TV, you're thinking, no way. You go to one,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Okay. So Jason's all in, right?
Shocker that a Nickell would
Right.
go all
He is like, Tara, I want to do all the things. I'm like, okay. So we go to the tournament and he's hanging out with us where we're staying at our hotel, and you know, Tiger Woods is at our hotel, and of course we get in trouble about that. And anyway, there's this big event for all the executives and the sponsors at a hotel in downtown Bellevue, and it's formal. Do you think Jason has formal clothes?
Oh, no.
Jacket required.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm like, well, if you want to go, you know, you can borrow something from my dad. My dad and Jason are not the same size.
No.
So you remember those cereal commercials? Like, I think it was Life, where the adult is eating it, but they're like a kid. So then they shrink to the kid, but they're still wearing the adult clothes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That was Jason in my dad's sport coat.
He's a trendsetter.
Okay, I mean, the arms are hanging down, but he doesn't care. He wants to be at this thing. It's going to be like, there's going to be some TV time. There's going to be
Good
all
price
this
for the
stuff, right?
jacket, free.
You're going to get to see a bunch of the players, a bunch of the
Yeah.
PGA mucky mucks. He doesn't care.
In Tiger's heyday, boy, that would have been.
Yeah, this is good stuff. Okay.
Big deal, yeah.
Yeah. So I say to Jason, I don't care. Go in my dad's closet and take whatever you want. Take whatever you want. So he does. We go to this event, and Jason's just shaking hands with everybody and, wanting to talk to all these people, and he's on cloud nine.
That's awesome.
And then it gets to this point where my dad, no, we don't know any of this. There's a backstory that's been happening on my dad's side.
Oh.
That we don't know anything about. He is supposed to be in this picture of all the executives. And they have matching, like, I want to say it was like a maroon
Yeah.
jacket with the emblem, like the
Crest.
patch, and they had to wear a white shirt, and they all had the same tie. It was all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dad went to get dressed at home when we were gone. No tie. Looked everywhere. Called the cleaners, chewed them out. Where's the tie? It's got to be here. So Dad's the only one, no tie. And he's ruffled.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Then he sees Jason
Looking good.
wearing the
The
tie.
tie.
that tie.
I'm thinking, are you shitting me?
Class-
Out of 50 ties
I was
in the
going to say, he
closet,
probably had 50 ties in.
probably had 50 ties. Jason grabs
He-
the one.
They found
Tie.
it.
It
They
was
found it.
probably hanging out somewhere special,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
right in
out
front,
front, so he
or
couldn't
probably like
forget it.
laid out. Like it was probably like on display, and he's like, "Oh, well, of course, that's the one." You know, it was meant to be.
I feel like, though, if you know Bill and you know Jason, it could have been the very last tie in the back in a box hidden, and it would have been the one.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Because you'd have done the same thing.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I agree.
All the time.
Yeah.
You'd have done the same
Sure.
thing, and that
Poor
is the
Jason.
infamous Jason.
Great story.
Nickell
I
and
mean,
the
we've
tie.
told it for years. You know.
Well, maybe you should tell one of your own stories. Tell on yourself a little bit, because you got a bunch of good ones, Billy.
Oh, you guys.
I mean, I can think of so many, like, that are classic.
How about the time you made your wife the maddest? What'd you do?
Or how did you get the name Turtle? We never finished that story.
Yeah.
When I played ball, I would, until I kicked it in, I would move slow. You know, I'd run out to the outfield, just kind of mosey on. I could move when I had to. So Irene said, "I'm going to call you Turtle from now on." I said, that's fine. Oh, you guys, probably we're in Germany, and we had a Volkswagen Beetle. And we're in Luxembourg. We had another couple with us. and the 2 girls are in the back seat. And I can't find this certain place. And Marci had a map, and I kind of turned to her. I said, would you check that out and figure it out? You know, I'm driving around here. I don't know where the hell I'm at. And she hauled off and slapped me. I was driving. She popped me. Same thing in Frankfurt. I'm in the Volkswagen Beetle. There's just 2 of us. We go down this alley, this dead-end alley. I'm in this. I go, you're supposed to be telling me where to go. She says, I'm going to tell you where to go, and she slapped me again. And those 2 times right there were probably as mad as she's ever gotten.
Probably set the tone for a lot of years to come. Huh?
Yeah, the directions. We've gotten into it over directions before.
I think I could go on a limb here and say, as have every married couple,
Yeah, for sure.
that tends to be
sure.
a big,
Yeah.
hot topic.
Oh,
Or-
you know, and she doesn't get mad very often.
No.
But she's kind of like Brooke. Brooke's real easygoing, and boy, when she gets sparked, you better pucker up and go hide behind a bush or something.
You know, I would say though, that's what makes you guys so great is because you can be a train wreck sometimes.
Oh yeah,
And she is just
Yeah.
pretty much unfazed.
So
Yeah.
what's the key to 50+ years? What's the
oh
answer?
we went downtown one night and closed the bars. This is in the 80s, and came home, had a babysitter. She lived right up the street, so.
Perfect.
And she got up in the morning, Marci did, at 5:30 or 6. I'm laying out in the front yard in my underwear. Summertime's gorgeous, you know.
Yeah.
I'm just laying there.
Who wouldn't be?
And she comes out, she goes, you know, seriously, what the, you know,
Yeah.
what the what?
Uh-huh.
And I said, yeah. But,
See what
See-
I'm saying? See what I'm
That's
saying?
it,
When I called him a train wreck, I was not exaggerating.
Made
Okay,
sense
this-
at the time, didn't it, Bill?
well, yeah, I mean, I
Got
think
home.
I was hot. I just went outside.
Probably.
We didn't have a porch, so I laid in the grass.
Yeah.
This
What-
when you
what-
lived like right in that house right downtown with the big front window?
On Allen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where it was. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's like Dale's Tavern days, probably.
The Legend House.
The legend
You
house.
guys remember the Legend? You guys a little bit
I think that was.
Where was that?
to it was right there where let's see what's there right now. Golden Florin.
Oh,
Oh.
Bear Foods.
Yeah, and then
That was a bar.
we'd close that down. They'd have bands.
So in those days they had that. They had the upper tavern, the middle tavern, the lower tavern.
Right.
4 taverns right there on Main.
The softball guys, we usually went to Dale's.
Okay.
Yeah. But the Legend House, we'd close that down. You know, we were dancing machines.
Wasn't there a
Yeah.
Chinese restaurant?
Chinese restaurant.
And then the
Oh,
back.
yeah, I remember
Yep.
that.
Yeah,
I
that was
remember the
dangerous.
We'd walk
part.
down. We'd walk down the block to
We
where
had a heavy hand at that place.
Yeah, yeah. I
just
remember
kind of
that.
where
Barely.
Windermere is now.
Okay.
They had a little restaurant called the Coffee Pot.
I remember that.
Remember that? Stayed open all night. We'd have breakfast.
And you probably had the Sand and Surf days.
Sand and Surf.
And
Yep.
Uncle Bub's.
Back door to Texas, Uncle Bub's.
Hughes.
Hughes.
Hughes Steakhouse was, growing up, was where we'd go to, have fries and Cokes.
Do you remember my grandma, my mom's mom, Hazel, had the bowling alley? Was that must have closed?
I remember Hazel.
On Main
Yeah, on Main. Yeah. She was like the first woman to own
business.
I think she sold it to Rains. I think.
Hazel was a heck of a bowler.
Yeah, yeah. My dad. That's how he was dating my mom. He was a little older while she was in high school, and he broke his ankles because they were setting pins, and somebody threw the ball while he was down there.
Hit
and
his ankle.
Hit his ankle with the pin, broke. So I think he did it on purpose, actually.
Russ, do you remember when the bowling alley was on Main Street?
I don't remember. I just remember my mom.
And
That's
that-
my grandma
That's
told
That's
me.
right in
about
there
it.
where
Aston's?
Pennies or Nastons, right? They had to set the pins.
Yeah,
Now, there was only 4 or 5 lanes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's how he got to hang out with my mom more. I think he just wanted to get her. I think he did it intentionally, get some sympathy.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Break your ankles.
He was all in. She was a princess. I'm like, how'd you do that, Dad? That's pretty good. And like, that guy that you're I'm sure her dad loved him at 5 years old or whatever, you know.
Well, Gene and I only lived about 75 yards from each other.
That makes it easy.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that I really admire about you and your family is your ability to laugh at yourself.
Yeah.
I think that there's a couple different types of people, and you can either get really upset and defensive and angry when you kind of have a screw up or a embarrassing moment, and you guys always seem to turn it into the best time. Nothing, you lose your wallet in Europe, or where were you? New York.
Madrid.
Okay, so only
Did you ever
Bill.
hear this story?
Please tell it.
Please. Yeah.
We landed, before we left, now I'd been stationed in Europe, so I knew a little bit about pickpockets. So we got off the plane in Madrid, and Brooke kept telling me before we left, Dad, keep your wallet in a safe place because somebody will get it. So we land, we get our luggage, find Brooke, he finds us, we get on the subway. I've got shorts on, and I put my wallet in my front left Velcro pocket. My passport in this pocket. I got on the subway. I'm hanging onto the pole. It's just packed with people. And we get off of that subway to catch another subway, and we're going up the stairs, and I reach down, and I go, Brooke, my wallet's gone. Now, we'd only been out of the airport 15 minutes.
Wow.
And, of course, Marci's going, I told you to put it someplace safe. You don't listen to me. I said, Marcel, this isn't a good time to chew my butt out. I'm stressed out. I lost everything's in my wallet.
And you're in Europe.
In Europe. And they tried to use my credit card within 20 minutes after we got to Brooks' apartment. And Brooks just decided he doesn't know, 'cause now we got to make phone calls to the States, everything. And we figure that what they do is they have little kids, and they'll come in under.
Oh.
And I didn't feel a thing, you guys. They're good at it.
Yeah.
And I caught hell I'm still catching hell.
I still hear about it, so
Yes. Marci brings it up every once in a while,
sure.
I said, can't you forget that?
Well, there's just so many.
Well, there is. Yeah, and it's hard to remember all of them.
They have a theme? Is there a theme?
No, there is a trend with Bill, and that's why it's never surprising. But your family, you and your family's response, is always hilarious.
There's anytime we travel, Tara, there's always something that happens.
Yeah, I can't wait. Like, I wait for you to get back so that I can hear the story.
Seriously.
You should start a blog, your own YouTube channel. Just travel, little van life or something.
Well, you know what? Some of these stories he probably doesn't want to share. Maybe when he's gone.
He's okay.
There's a few there that I don't want to put
I
it on the
bring up
podcast.
my
The underwear
favorite
was
one.
off, not on, and I don't know, maybe in the later in the day.
Oh, jeez.
So
Yeah.
you've never got in any debates with your son Jason over sports, have you? Have you ever had any debates on
Not too much over sports. Now, politics is a different story.
Well, Jason can argue.
Oh, and once his mind is set in stone, you're not going to change it.
Now I love it.
So rather, I'm getting up there in years. I just don't want to have a massive argument, about
Yeah.
certain,
Yeah.
So
You guys are stubborn.
we're both competitive.
Yeah.
And whereas Brooks just kind of easy going.
Yeah, I've often wondered where he came from.
He just, Steve Cannon thinks it's his kid. And he brings that up just about every time.
I mean, I'm just saying. I've often thought about the milkman or something because
You don't want to get
He
Ancestry.com involved, do you?
he is so just
chill.
He's just level.
Just calm and friendly.
Level.
And, I mean, it's like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Not that he's not competitive. Not that he's not a good
in
athlete.
a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a great athlete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good sized guy too.
Joe called him money.
Money.
He could shoot
remember
the
that.
three.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of good memories here, huh?
Oh man, you guys. The night in '93, we played Ephrata for the district championship at Eastmont. There was 300 people that couldn't get in.
Wow.
And Ike Cummings was the AD. He was just beside himself. People were just screaming at him, you know. Ephrata was ranked number 1. And we were down 39-32 at halftime. And second half started, we kept kind of chipping away. And we ended up winning, I think it was 66-62, something like that. And of course, I was just, because we hadn't been to state since '81.
Yeah.
And when you have a kid playing, you know, like your folks, Des, I'm sure they were just,
Oh,
I mean,
you're all in. You're all in.
Yeah.
I was so excited, I picked up an Ephrata lady and hugged her. And, you know, I thought Mary
Yeah.
Boyd was going to pass out.
Yeah.
She, you know, it was just
Yeah.
one of those,
And
because
you
we
said-
weren't supposed to win that game at all.
You said 91,
93.
93.
but 91 is when Joe came back.
Yes, summer
So
of 91.
So this is his really second season with these kids.
Yeah.
And he got them.
Uh,
Wow.
Jason's junior year, they got beat in district. And then, of course, he took them
Senior.
to, yeah.
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 Yeah. That's. I remember that because Frank and I think were brand new teachers at Ephrata. That's where
Oh,
our first
were-
teaching jobs
is that
were
where you
out
were?
of. I think that's yep. And
Wow.
I don't think we went because I don't think we got in. I think we knew that. Yeah. Anyway.
Did you know, then you knew Marty O'Brien?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
God. That guy was something.
Ephrata had amazing coaches in that era.
Yes.
In all sports.
And that's what I was saying earlier, Russ. The 90s, the 90s were, and that's because my kids were playing, but the Caribou League was unbelievable.
Yeah. It really was.
And even the bees and, you know.
Did you know Travis King?
I coached with Travis's dad. I coached for Travis's dad.
Oh, gosh, that kid.
Yeah. He's a nice man.
Is he still there, Des? In Ephrata?
No, the Kings have moved out. I don't
They-
know where they are
they
now.
moved.
About.
Now,
yeah.
Travis was coaching at, like, St. Mary's or...
He was. He did. He went on to coach some at St. Mary's.
He's had a tough life, I hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't.
I really like that guy.
Yeah.
I don't
Oh God, he could
know where
shoot.
he's at now, but...
Yeah, he could shoot.
Oh,
Yeah.
he was
Last
so
I
good.
knew, San Francisco area, St. Mary's, and some other colleges in that area, I think. But I don't know for sure. That's a
fun to
long time
find
ago
him.
now.
Be fun to find some of that family and talk to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, those were. We talk about our Caribou Trail League that's now 3 teams, and it's just really hard to believe that
Just
30 years ago
Yeah.
what that league was,
9 teams then, or
and just the
Oh.
premier. I
And-
mean, I know I'm biased, but the premier of the state. in
And they were all good
sports.
teams.
Yeah, all sports. So
So
anyway,
what is that? What is the difference? Why did that happen? What is the? Is it population?
I think population more than anything.
I do. I think the state has changed a few things. They put in the 1B, 2B and tried to create, instead of having, the 2As, there was like 65 teams, and in the Bs, there was like 150. So they were trying to create equity across all levels.
Travel distance.
Travel distances and just
So travel
population
distances
changes.
seem, though, because of this, that they've increased, not decreased.
In a way, they have.
Yes.
Because I'm hearing playing teams
Yeah.
like, whoa, never heard of this team before, way far away.
Yeah.
And some of them are having to meet in the middle
Yeah.
to play somewhere because they're so far away. That's
I don't know.
interesting.
No rhyme or reason in my.
It's
But-
that
but
good
it
old
just
days
is
thing.
sad
Just
to me
always
that-
better
Well,
in the past.
to tie back to you and your farming thing, though, I mean, some of these towns were big and great because of the economics of their town.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a time in real estate when I first started where if there was an orchard listed, there was a major problem with it because it was always sold either word of mouth through the sheds, through the field staff, or a kid would come back and take over.
Oh, interesting.
So the real estate brokers weren't even it wasn't until I got licensed in college. I was like 1989, and I think I moved back here from Spokane and like after college and moved there about 92, 93 when I moved back home, and so I was starting just then to talk to farmers, which were one of my major clients because I just knew the apple game for growing up in it, and they were just kind of starting to maybe have to sell. There was a couple bad years here and a couple bad years there, but it was very different than it is now. Now it's almost to the point where you don't even really, the numbers you don't even need to see it. Like it's almost that difficult where you just know the highest and best use is going to be something else. And then that becomes very challenging with the government, very challenging with politics. And it seems easy from the outside looking in, but it's really, even if you have it doesn't make it always a win. You know, there's so many barriers to entry into most things that the supply, the people, you know, we think there's a ton of people here, but you know, at the end of the day, supply and demand dictates price. So we just don't have enough real estate. Now that does ebb and flow too, you know, and right now there's very few things on the market. Well, in a couple of months,
real estate down right now? Is
just inventory.
Of course, it's wintertime.
Wintertime.
Yeah.
And I think the apple industry took a hit, you know, big hit. And I'm talking to a lot of people, and it's pretty hard. It's pretty amazing to see families that have done it as long as they have. Like you said, you know, I went through it. How they made it this long is amazing. Like just pure amazing farmers, right?
Really?
Like best in the world type people and dedicated, obsessed.
And then you got Mother Nature to deal with. You never know on that from one year to the next.
And then the politics and the government. It's just a wild ride. And then the taxes and all the other things, labor and housing. So, you know, the small farmer just had an uphill battle.
Yep.
And I feel bad for the ones that are throwing in the towel now. It's just, there's no real easy answer for it. You know, there's no real easy solution, and you just have to have empathy. I mean, that's the key. If you can just, to your point, if you can just try to empathize with people, that's what I just try to love more than judge. You know, like everybody's going to walk their own path, right? And they're doing the best they can.
I like that philosophy. Yeah.
Okay, so, you know, through your comments and your stories, I think that we could guess what you're going to say, but what does this town mean to you? What does your hometown mean to you?
My hometown is... in fact, I'm going to write my own obituary, and I'm going to, my first paragraph or two will be about our town. And I don't just mean Chelan, I mean this whole valley.
Yeah.
The beauty, the people, of course, growing up here to me was precious. And as you get older, you guys will find out, you sit and you kind of think about old times a lot. And they say not to reminisce. I reminisce a lot because I had a great time growing up here.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't trade it.
Do you have any regrets, Bill?
Or a do-over? Would you take a do-over in anything?
Well, I've got a couple regrets. I wish I'd have done better in school. I didn't take it very serious. And that's why, like Russ said, that the UPS job was, to me, was in this valley is a great job. I mean, but you just about have to have an education now if you're gonna, you know, get anywhere. So I was blessed with the job in the town I loved. I joined the Officials Association a couple of times, and I don't know if you guys get the Wenatchee World. You read the article on Steve Simonson?
No.
I did not.
Just great article. But I wished I'd have stuck with that. And in 1973, I sent money to the Harry Wendelstadt Umpire School in Florida. And I was kind of friends with Wes Crosley, and he said, "You should take a shot at it, Bill." He says, "You might have a shot." And there's a lot of politics in that too. But I was married, you know, and
Yeah.
Marci's pregnant with Jason, and I'm thinking, of course, when you're an umpire, you're gone all the time,
Oh, and
Yeah.
baseball's a forever season.
forever.
Yeah. Starts
Especially
in the winter and
in the
ends
warm
in the
climates,
winter.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean-
And so I dropped out of that. And I kind of wish I'd have still done it, but
You know, you'd have been good at that.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
you would
I-
have.
What
You
position
would
did you
have
play
been
in high school
really
and
good at
college? When you played for the Air Force, what position did you play?
oh, I was catcher.
You were the catcher.
Wow.
Oh boy.
100 guys turned out, Russ,
Wow.
and we kept like 14, I think.
You must have had a cannon.
And every position, there was good players, and I thought, you know, I caught Klein a few times,
There you go.
A few.
and I'm going to give it a shot, and I made it.
That's awesome.
That's
Yeah.
great.
That's great memories for you.
We had one guy that pitched at Iowa State, and he was almost as good as Steve. Not quite, but boy, he was good.
Now, Steve just passed away, what?
2018.
Yeah. It was a sad day for you, but
Oh gosh,
he always seemed like a very nice man, from my perspective.
he was. Boy, there's a guy with stories
Yeah. Yeah.
when he was with the Yankees.
Yeah. He was.
Some of them not so good stories. But no, he called me one day on the last day of February in 2018. He said, "Bill, can you come over here and get me and take me to the clinic?" I said, "Yeah." And he was gone in 3 months. Lymphoma
Yeah.
took him quick.
You know, nobody gets out alive, right?
Freaking cancer.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
Yep.
How's your folks, Desi?
They're doing well. Thank you.
Are
Yeah,
they still in Harrington?
They are.
Gosh, that's amazing.
They are. I think they're going to come next week and talk to us. So
Fill me in on district a little bit. You know the schedule?
I do. I know that our girls play Friday.
Here?
Yep. And then they'll play. Oh wait, Bill. Nope. They play Saturday. And then they'll play Tuesday. And then they'll play Thursday.
Do the boys play Saturday here too? Do you know?
I think so.
Okay.
I think
Probably
so.
OMAC.
The girls are playing Cascade again. Well, actually, they'll play the winners of
All of.
the two. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So we don't know who they're playing. We're thinking Cascade for the
gotcha.
girls.
If
And
you guys
probably
haven't
OMAC.
noticed, sports are a really big part of small towns.
Yeah.
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 Very big part.
Really big part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Nickell, where did you grow up?
I grew up in East Wenatchee.
Wildcats.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know. Yeah. That took me a second.
What year did you graduate?
13, I think.
Memorable time for
You're
you.
asking me questions of things I just don't know about myself. It's not like I lived it at all.
yeah.
Well, you must have known Mr. Marnie.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Did you know
Mrs.
Mrs. Williams?
Not ringing a bell. What did she do?
She worked for Mr. Marnie in that office area.
Office.
There's a guy who got into golf,
Oh,
and his kids.
Really?
Both his kids got into golf.
yes.
Oh yeah. I
You,
knew the
do you
golf.
play
thing.
still?
Not so much. I tend to work a lot, but every once in a while. I play a little scramble once in a while. We did that every year, like the Lions Club tournaments. You know, that was always. I think I played with Jason a few times.
Yeah, Jason. Brooke belongs to a country club in Albuquerque. He's shooting in the 70s.
Oh boy.
He's
Yeah,
pretty-
there was this thing called 2008. Before that little recession, I played a lot of golf.
Yeah.
And that little thing that happened in
Just a hiccup.
the
It's just a hiccup.
Just a hiccup.
had to get back to work.
Everybody had a hiccup.
Yeah.
Well,
so-
and you know, for you, I imagine you were busy working and doing your kids and everything else. So golf came for you later.
I played golf in the late 80s, early 90s, and then, of course, my kids were so busy, I quit. And 3 years ago, I took it back up. I got a regular group. We play. I'm not very good. In fact, the guys I play with, they get upset when I don't show up because they don't get paid.
Right. Now you do.
You're an
play a
ATM
tournament
machine.
With my dad.
I see.
Yes, and we won the horse race. Yes. I wasn't in the actual tournament. We played the horse race together.
Okay, so you have the same coffee group as
I
the
was
golf
just gonna
group?
say the same.
Yeah.
My golf group is Larry Bowers,
Huh?
Roger Mosier, Donnie Coleman. There might be some guys there you don't know. A guy named Lenny Cochran, a guy named Dan Hodge, Brett Morrison, who just moved to Denver. I don't know if you all knew that.
Oh.
And Dave Cullen,
Oh.
who I love.
Oh,
Yeah.
so they moved back recently.
I just saw
Yes.
him.
2 years ago, maybe.
Yeah,
just saw
built
him.
a house.
Great
and-
people.
Yeah, so great.
It's nice to have them back in the valley.
Oh,
So
Desi,
great.
great people.
So then that's your golf group. Who's your coffee group?
Coffee group. Okay, you ready?
Yeah. Ready.
Mike Olbert,
Okay.
Terry Folletto,
Oh, nice. Newbie.
Grandpa Folletto,
Okay.
Steve Cannon,
Okay.
John Snyder,
Oh my gosh.
Johnny Snyder, Roger Mosier,
Okay.
Bill Nickell. I'm missing somebody.
Turtle.
And then you walk with.
Sackenritter moved.
Oh, he did.
Yes.
Oh, wait a minute. What?
Yes.
He was your walking bro.
Where'd they go?
He moved. His daughter lives in Mesa.
Oh.
And the house he was in, the landlords decided to sell. So rather than start looking around here, he just moved to Mesa.
Oh,
And
well, good for him.
and
So
he likes-
now he's walking every day year round.
he likes it a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, good for him.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Yeah.
Absolutely great guy.
Yeah. So,
So you don't have a walking buddy now.
no, I just get out.
Everyone, Bill's looking for a walking buddy.
Yep.
Bill's looking for a walking buddy.
He likes to walk around town, get his mail. Yeah.
People stop me and go, God, I saw you out walking the other day, Bill. Yeah, I said, yeah, I tried to get out and walk.
Well,
I know.
Bill,
I'm gonna miss you.
It's the,
Yeah.
we
Gosh, you shut her down.
I'm right here. I'm here now.
I
So I
want I have one last question. Did you did Bress pay you to say that he was a good athlete back in the day? Because the only person I've ever heard him say that was himself a lot. So I was just wondering, did he pay you?
Okay. That's
honestly,
not-
I played so long ago nobody remembers.
They were fun. They had a great basketball
Okay.
team. I
Yeah.
really,
Believe you.
and I went to state and watched you, and
Yeah, we had a good time.
they had a call against you there off the ball that was just terrible.
Yeah, last second.
Do you remember that, Russ?
Oh,
Yeah.
of course he remembers.
Right, it
You
was-
remember it. He remembers
It was
it.
right in front of us.
Yeah,
and
they-
I'm going, you got to be kidding
We
me.
would have probably won the state. That was they
Oh
won
my
the state
gosh. Is this
championship.
a Napoleon
Lost
Dynamite
by
moment?
Did you end up trophying? You trophied, didn't
I
you?
think so. We got like
Yeah.
third.
Yeah.
I think so. We that team won it. And I would have won it with a lane. We
Got
saw
Morton.
Frank and I.
Yeah. And then, like I said, Desi was.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Hey, I'm getting a little hurt.
She played basketball too.
Like,
You know, why can't I remember you? I'm not trying to be
yep.
ugly
here it
about
comes.
this.
This is payback. Telling the underwear story.
I almost got a technical in the old Chelan gym when I was playing in 8th grade because the entire crowd was screaming "rich bitch" and banging on the bleachers, and we had like
that's
30
so funny.
seconds on the clock, and I had 2 free throws to shoot, and we were down by 1. What do you think happened?
That's funny. I almost got a technical.
nailed them both.
I drained them,
Yep.
and I turned to the crowd and said, "In your face." And I ran back down,
Girl.
and we won the game. And it's so great to burn
See,
Chelan.
Did you guys
Big
play?
rivalry.
Did you guys play with Mona?
No, Mona was
No.
just
Was she before you or
yes. She's actually a year older. It went Mona, then my sister Mandy, and then I'm 5 years younger than Mandy. So
And I
that's a
got to
whole
play
different
1 year with
She
Des.
does is a year behind Frank and I.
Yeah.
Where is Mandy at?
Mandy's in Southern California, Apple Valley, outside LA.
Gee,
Yep, she's been there since she graduated college.
you know, I didn't know Mandy at all.
Yeah. Yeah. She's
You're too busy at the Legion Hall.
Yeah, it was a legend house.
Legend House.
Come on, Russ.
That's all right.
Legend House, shutting her down.
Yeah. It's no longer there. It couldn't keep
Of
up.
course, we had some real disco dancing parties at Gene's.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh, that
That
house
place
was
was
something
amazing.
else.
Do you remember? Did you go
Well,
in?
so Risa and Carrie Glessner rented it while they were building their house.
Yeah, the Purple
So
Wave.
I had never been there
All the
before, but
things.
then they moved in, and it was like, holy hell, what happened in this
I
house?
mean, they had lights on the dance
They
floor.
had a
Yeah.
parquet
Oh, that'd be
floor
fun.
You know,
and
and
a bar
in the wall fish tank.
Saturday Night Fever right there, baby.
I'm trying to act like John Travolta.
Yeah.
You know,
We're on film if you want to show us.
couple of whiskeys. Look out.
We do this again, Bill. I'm going to bring it.
That
All
would
right.
be
Well, we've
fun.
been talking, Bill, an hour and a half.
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
I can't thank you enough. I gave you a lot of notice. I think I talked to you yesterday. So
I
thank
appreciate it. Yeah, thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
you guys.
I got to leave with one thing.
Okay.
I've been at a lot of family weddings that you and Marci
Oh.
have been at.
yeah.
And at the end of the night,
Oh.
all the other adults sitting their ass in a chair. There's all the little kids out there, and Bill and Marci.
For
Still
sure.
Dancing
Cut
it
the
up.
rug, man.
And
That's the 50-year deal.
That's how you keep it,
so
huh?
amazing.
Learn to dance.
Yeah.
So
Stay
fun to
married.
watch. You guys just
Love you guys.
warm my heart. So
Absolutely
thank you.
love you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for having me out.
Yeah. Well, you're,
Nice to meet you.
Nice to
you're a
meet you.
giant part of this town, buddy.
Oh, my word.
Yep.
Yeah, fun,
Yes.
fun stories.
Everybody loves you. I know I do.
I appreciate it.
Yep. Yep.
All right. Thanks for coming.